Welcome to the Everyday Heroes podcast sponsored by Kofkin Bond Co. Today, we are joined with Melbourne duo Jack Say and Isaac Gibbons, also known as Swag on the Beat. The two boys transformed lockdown boredom into a social media phenomenon with their viral sketches. Known for their sharp wit and relatable humor, they turn ordinary life into comedic gold, building a loyal online following along the way. Beyond their content, they bring a laid-back, approachable energy, whether they're surfing, playing music, or engaging with fans. With millions of followers across platforms and a successful podcast, Jack and Isaac are redefining what it means to create and share comedy in the digital age. Enjoy the podcast.
Gents for life. It's so can we actually put that part in or in record what they just said?
Let me call my manager.
I did. We want gents. We're not going to edit. You can
Yeah,
say
okay,
it,
yeah.
if you cry or swear, I don't care. So it's Jack and Isaac. Welcome to the Kofkin Bond podcast. It is called Everyday Heroes, and you have become the heroes to 1.1 million followers. I saw
Oh, wow.
this morning. I think you already knew that.
No, thanks for reminding us, though.
And thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Tony. Yeah, honoured to be here.
That's right.
And Ella, thanks for
Yeah, so it's great to have you gents here. So there's two sides to what we're going to talk about today. You actually do have a serious business with a quite funny name,
Nice.
but it is actually a very serious business and an environmentally friendly business as well, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
And also, though, you are both comedians and you do have some of the funniest skits that we've seen. You do have your 1.1 million followers and Swag on the Beat. So it's and Vaughan, who knows you in here, has told me stories about you both being mobbed on the streets and everyone wants selfies with you and autographs and it's
Or known to be hyperbolic at times.
yeah, so it's,
We thank Vaughan for that vote.
well, he certainly spoke very highly of you both, and more to the fact, I think he likes going out with you because he has half a chance of meeting people. And we're not editing that out.
Yeah. Well, before we started Swag, when we'd go out with Vaughan, he would just stand in the corner. He wouldn't meet anyone. Now
That's
it's
exactly
a
how
new
he is now.
lease on life.
He hasn't changed at all. man.
There's other people in the corner though now.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I did ask a question earlier off air to you both. You are Ivanhoe Grammar Primary School, but Ivanhoe Grammar boys. And just very recently, you had a billboard outside Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Penn Plaza.
Yeah, the Penn Plaza, a huge billboard out there. And I was wondering, has anyone else from Ivanhoe Grammar ever had a billboard in Manhattan?
Yeah. I don't know, but maybe we should bring it up at our next reunion or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not that we can remember.
No.
We've actually been trying to get into
Yeah.
there's a school newsletter called the Ivanarian that they release quarterly, I think.
Quarterly
Kind of a sum
magazine.
up
Yeah.
of the photos of the reunion, what's been happening, who's had some notable achievements. And there's a bunch of people from our year that have gone on to play sport, gone on to do music, be in the arts, and we're just waiting for our call up into the Ivanarian.
Yeah.
And it somehow
You
hasn't
haven't had
come
a
yet.
crack yet.
Well,
Hasn't come.
we did a live show maybe 12, 18 months ago, and it was a tour around all the capital cities here, New Zealand, England, and we emailed the thing to say, hey, if any local school people want to come to the Melbourne shows, like it'd be great if let them know. I'm like, oh, maybe blah 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 blah. I'm like, what does it take to get in this magazine? Anyway, so we're working on it.
And we're training for footy on the side so we can make a VFL team because that's probably a better chance of us getting in there.
I don't know, Isaac. I mean, that video of you having a dump, it was that Yarra Flats outside in the park, with your toilet there and things like that.
Yeah.
Which
Noteworthy of getting in the newsletter.
I actually thought, with your pants around your ankles, sitting on a toilet might actually be a good one for the
I
newsletter.
thought I deserved a little bit more recognition than I got for that, so thank you. I appreciate it.
No, that was, but I was saying to Vaughan that, I got one toilet upstairs where it's probably, about good several meters from the toilet to the door. And you hear that front door open. It's just like, damn. It was actually, that's actually what I love about your skits because they grew up in the Seinfeld era. I'm a few generations older than both you gents, but but growing up in that era, that comedy was just everyday real life, which is what I actually find your comedy about. So those skits, it's just like, I think they're so funny because everyone actually resonates with them.
That's very kind.
Very high praise. But I think, watching Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David sort of make the blueprint for how to turn something small and relatable into a whole episode or a whole video is something that whether or not directly or indirectly, just through doing comedy stuff nowadays, you get a lot of influence from, because I think they were amongst the first to, it's a lot of their jokes and the themes of their episodes aren't about some massive hilarious thing. It's all about some awkward little funny moment that happens and everyone has experienced in their life. And then you just unpack that and turn that into 20 minutes worth of content. So they're definitely, Larry David, especially for me, I think is a massive influence with his comedy style.
He's actually quite amazing. There's a couple of recent ones you put out that I want to touch on, which real life, but it's just like, it's true. Can't stop laughing, but it's actually true.
Nice. You're very kind.
So, walking down the street and a police car drives by. Why do we always feel guilty when we see a police officer or a priest? We just all of a sudden feel guilty.
Yeah, you just administrator,
Yes, that was the Catholic in me, obviously. So it's,
what's the equivalent of, so when you walk past police on the street and you think to each other, act like you're not doing anything wrong, even if you're not doing anything wrong, what's the equivalent if you're sitting in church or if you're walking past a priest and you've got to act like you're obeying the good word? Yeah.
Yeah, I will take my mum to church once a year, just to stay in the good books. I figure that 1 hour a year helps me for the other 364 days to get through it, having an Irish Catholic mother. I did see a skit the other day, when you go to church for the first time in years and the priest says, the devil was amongst us today. So it's like, who else is here for the first time? In a while. So it's,
that's awesome.
Those priests, especially the ones with the Irish accents, they make you feel guilty.
So
it's, but that of walking down the street and just the way you guys started walking in that as well, it's just like, yeah, it's just, but then again, once again, I'm Gen X, so I look at some young police officers today and I think, I don't think you're big enough to actually hold that gun. Are you actually 18?
Yeah. But the funny thing was, like Isaac had the idea for that, the sketch
because he
idea.
Constantly feels guilty.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's hiding something that we don't know yet. And we were just like, well, why don't we actually ask the police to be a part of it? Because it makes such a difference when, you sort of, when you make videos like this, you graduate from doing in your bedroom and then you're in the lounge room. And it's like, oh, maybe we can actually go outside. And it just, you sort of find it actually creates the world a lot better.
Yeah.
So we reached out to Vic Pol and they were like, oh, we never do that sort of stuff. We say no to everyone. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Here's the script. If you ever change your mind, let us know. And 3 days later, they came, we're coming, we like it. Or we did it to 2 people.
Did they have one of their media representatives there?
One of them was from the media department.
Yes.
And someone else who was a genuine, they're both genuine agents or whatever the word is, but both lovely.
Yeah.
And they came in and played ball and it was great.
Yeah.
So
they actually said that after, because the video went, it did quite well. And they said afterwards that they got about 40 new sign-ups to the police academy.
They said they could track it from the video to the sign-up.
Who would have thought you gents would have been such a great influence on young people wanting to join Vic Pol?
Yep, cleaning up the streets, making them safer. That's what we're all about.
Well, we actually interviewed a 20-year senior sergeant in here, Maha Sukas. So she was the actual first, either state or both, actually state and federal police officer in Australia to be able to wear the hijab with her uniform. It's a rigmarole we went through for that. Had to put all the questions through. And as you know, I have questions here, but I very rarely revert to them. We sort of just have a good chat. But we had to put all the questions there. We had to read every question online, and the media poll was here, and they went through it. But it was a couple of times where I thought, oh, sorry, I can't help myself. This has just led me to another question.
Yeah.
But they were actually really good.
Yeah.
It was just them going through all the questions, and as you said, sending the script first.
Yeah, sure.
But you had them in a good light. I mean, you two were the guilty ones walking down the street.
It felt like there was enough alignment where they would want to, play ball. We're not particularly like pushing the envelope with edgy, or not, we're not trying to be super, say everything all the time, being rude or crass or incorrect or whatever. We find it's more fun to almost say stuff. I think that helped a lot as well.
I think the
Um,
police will pull you over or think you're looking guilty depending on what tracksuit you're wearing. You know, your Adidas is I'm about to commit a crime
Yeah.
tracksuit. Your Nike tracksuit
Yeah.
is, going to court tracksuit. And your of course your Puma tracksuit is just I have to have dinner with mum.
Yeah.
Tracksuit
Different
or
hierarchies of
go to
tracksuit.
church tracksuit. So I think so. I don't know if either of you were wearing an Adidas tracksuit in that one. We're in that clip. So it's
No, I think we were jeans and t-shirt.
yeah.
From memory.
Sorry if anyone from Adidas is listening to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go.
Nice.
So it's,
Guilty feet.
Sambas.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right, guilty feet. So another one which I loved was the Bunnings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jack, I don't know whose idea it was for you to come across as the Messiah in that one, but
Yeah.
it's a very, very funny clip because that is exactly what happens.
Yeah, it feels like that a lot of the time.
There's another funny story with that about
Yeah.
Jack becoming the Messiah because we were in Bunnings and I think we filmed one variation because frequently when we film a video, we sort of just,
So once again, they were happy for you to film there.
they were unaware of it.
But what happened was some of the junior staff members went, oh, and spotted us. And they were like, oh, we'll keep the managers away who will try and like get you.
And anyway,
Really
we had a hoodie on. We had a hoodie on standby, and anytime one of the senior employees would come by, we'd put the hoodie on over the red polo. But because we usually just delegate the parts to whoever will fit the role best, and we don't care who plays what. But with the Bunnings one, I think we filmed one variation. I can't remember who was whom, but then at the end we didn't feel like it worked, so we switched roles and filmed the exact same video with both of us playing the opposite role. And then I think we just 50-50 tossed a coin for which one to post.
Yeah.
And it was the one that came out. So there's a version that exists with completely flipped roles of that exact video.
Yep.
But
no, it was a great video. But how many times have you tried to eat your entire bag of grapes before getting to checkout? And that was another good one as well.
Well,
so
that one, because I was in the red polo from the supermarket, and we were filming it, and there was a shot through through the aisle, and I was standing in the aisle by myself while Isaac was shooting on the other side. So I looked like I was just standing there as an employee, and this old couple came up to me and said, "Oh, do you know where the shaving cream is?" And I was like, "Well, I think it's." I started looking at the aisles for them, and said, "I think it's aisle 8." And they're like, oh, "Okay." I'm like, "But don't it's my first day, so don't quote me on that or whatever." Because you didn't want to say, "Oh, I'm not actually here," because I didn't want them to go like, "Oh, this person's impersonating." So have enough of an answer where they believe you, but not lead them down the wrong path.
Could have just turned around and said, "I'm not a Bunnings employee. I don't know."
Yeah. You're in the wrong shop.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's funny that you actually say that because I was up in Sydney for an awards night last week.
Okay.
And on Friday night, the awards night was on Friday night, and I was waiting for my guest to arrive. And, so I'm waiting downstairs in the foyer, dressed in my tuxedo, and I must have had 3 people come up to me and ask for directions.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I actually had a complaint lodged because an Asian couple came up to me and said, "Excuse me, where's the toilet?" And I said, "I don't know." And the manager, because I've been staying there a few days, she was actually really nice and I chatted to her a few times. And she goes, "Just to let you know, the toilets are down." I just looked and said, "I don't know." So I was sure I didn't know.
Wow, that's funny.
Because I was staying in a hotel, so the toilet was up in my room.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
it was,
why should you know? Yeah.
so level 4, room 409.
Here's the key. Yeah. Here's the key pass.
I thought, how rude. He's saying it does my tuxedo look that bad? And I work here, so.
That is pretty presumptuous of them.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So I am going to talk about your brand over my shoulder here as well.
Yes.
So we alluded to the skit of, being home and leaving the toilet door open whilst you decide to go to the toilet because you're home alone. But I do want to talk about the toilet paper brand Smartass.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been now since you've brought this out?
2 months, basically. Just under 2 months.
So when I first met you, it was pretty much just launched then?
Yeah, was that in mid-September? Probably. Yeah, it would have been 2 weeks old. We would have just got back from it. We did a bit of a drive around Melbourne and Canberra and Sydney in the Volvo, in the wrapped Volvo. But it's been whirlwind 2 months, really. It sort of has picked up really well. Got a lot more attention than we thought it might, and not only retail uptake, but like wholesale and businesses are getting on board because of the Australiana, and it's a good product. And we can't say anything right now probably, but there's other bigger things that are happening with it, which is great. And we're just
don't
really
want to say, don't you?
Hey,
You really want to
I would
say it,
love to
don't you?
say it. I would love to say something right
Well,
now.
this might come out in 7 weeks, so will it be out by then?
I'm not
No, it's okay.
confident to say either. But no, we just wanted to say thanks to anyone who has gotten on board, because it means so much to us. And it has, if we're only 2 months in, but if we feel like it can keep living and growing and thriving, we think it's like a really, sure, it's just toilet paper, but it's a really good Australian product that is better than what's majority out there.
I actually, for my American friends, who I was mentioning to you guys off air, cannot understand a word
Yes.
that most of us are saying, especially after a beer or two.
Sure.
But it's being called a smartass here in Australia can be, a term of devotion. Oh, you smartass.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
it could mean you're about to get a punch in the face.
Yeah,
depending on
exactly.
how it's actually
Context
said.
dependent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
context dependent, things like that, which is a lot of the Australian vocabulary,
Yes,
or the
yes.
bogan vocabulary
Yes.
from that perspective as well. But the brand name, I mean, I think it works perfectly well because, you guys are comedians and you're real life comedians. And what I mean by that is you actually make fun of things that we do every day. And you actually put it in a way that is actually very funny. And as I said to you guys, I don't care if you're politically, incorrect on here as well, but the brand name works magnificently well. And I'd actually see that brand name really kidding off overseas, especially in the US.
That's interesting, because a lot of the debate between
Are you
us.
not allowed to talk about this?
Yeah, no, I can talk about this one.
Yeah.
A lot of the debate was the name of it. We wanted to be smartass, but we would be traditionalists and say ARSE. So we sort of.
It's that good education.
Well, thanks, Bob. Yeah, but that was a sort of a point of tussle to work out what we wanted. But it felt like ASS was more playful. ARSE felt more like almost rude or
More
something.
direct.
More direct and rude. And then the ASS obviously is an American accepted way of saying it as well. So if we get to go over there, well,
it's Americans do love Australians. Haven't always worked out why, because everything here either kills them, or they can't understand what we're saying. But they do love us. They do love coming here, and they do love meeting with us overseas as well. But I think the name actually works perfectly well. And when you've actually, especially when people will see that in the aisles, first of all, the colours stand out. But when you actually see that in the aisles and people start to know it's Australian made, it's a name that people will really talk about. And actually it's a name that will look quite funny, on top of a toilet in Texas, in Austin.
yes,
As an example as well.
exactly,
So,
I think that was the idea, because it's such a quirky product to release, and our humor style can get a bit weird and absurd, and it felt like a good marriage between us and a product to choose. So it only felt right to give it a bit of a tongue-in-cheek name as well, because there's nothing really serious about toilet paper.
You guys originally did a skit during COVID when we were running out of toilet paper. Is that correct?
Correct. That's
you
how
own your own
research,
toilet
Tony.
paper brand.
Yeah.
That's how we started. Yeah, our very first video was during COVID. We were super bored, as I'm sure most of Melbourne was, and we went into Woolies to have a look at the empty shelves where the toilet paper was, because at the time, even though it doesn't sound like it now, that was a really exciting prospect.
Yeah.
And so we went in, had a look. There was no dunny paper there as we expected, and then we said, "All right, well, what do we do now?" And then we got the phone out, downloaded TikTok, and made a video, and then the rest was history. We woke up the next morning and it had gone a little bit viral, and we thought, okay, we better keep doing this, I guess. And then 5 years later, the paper brand, there was a full circle moment.
The thing that maybe got us excited was there was a comment that said, "Oh, this reminds me of Lane on Woodley," and we're like, "Oh, oh my god!"
Ultimate praise.
Who is who?
Well, that's the ultimate question, I guess. Should have brought a bucket hat. Maybe.
Have you debated that one yet?
Haven't actually.
No.
Yeah,
but
you do play off each other really well when it comes to all of these. But when you're looking at you've got your brand. It would be ridiculous to have someone looking like me behind your brand, because with the name and everything that you actually are. But there's also a serious side to the business as well. I mean, first of all, it is environmentally friendly, and I'll get you guys to touch on the specifics of that if it's okay. And I'm sure I'll find out soon, but it's apparently one of the best ones to use.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that probably got us across the line to do it, in and amongst having offers and opportunities to do other things that didn't quite get us excited or think it was funny. That's why it sort of drew us, because it is kind of quirky, funny, weird, whatever. But it is the most sustainable toilet paper available in the market. The factory we get it made at is the only one in Australia that can make it from Australian sourced recycled material, or like waste material. And as soon as we held it, we were like, well, it just kept ticking all these boxes, and we're like, why not? So yeah.
Has and being environmentally friendly been something that's been the front of your minds previously in any way, or it's just like this all makes sense?
Well, just because it's
I
like,
know you both like to surf and things like that, so it's always nicer to surf in a cleaner beach,
yeah,
things like that. But
Yeah.
it's is there something, or is it just something that made perfect sense to you guys?
feels like a net good thing to do.
Most
Really.
surfers, you don't want to see toilet paper out in the waves, do
No,
you?
no,
So
not
it's,
particularly.
Unless it's ours.
yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's friendly.
Exactly.
It's economically
Exactly.
friendly.
Yeah,
Don't pick it up.
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, I think growing up in the era that we did, I suppose it was always when we were sort of 15 to 20 was really when everyone started becoming aware of what's going on with the environment and with climate change and all that. And you can't really help but be a part of it. And I think we've just grown up with it as something that wherever possible, it's sort of a no-brainer. So and I think that something that's great with this brand and the manufacturer we use is that we don't need to. The vast majority of toilet paper is made from cutting down trees, but the reality is now, and as is with many industries, that doesn't need to happen. We have the means to recycle and to not cut down trees. And the apprehension for us was that the recycled toilet paper we'd used that exists out there has been really rough. And even if you want to do a good thing and buy a recycled product, at the end of the day, if the quality is not there, it's probably not worth it. But
People still like comfort.
exactly. So when, like Jack was saying, when we held it and used it and found, this is actually better than some of the ones made using cutting down trees, that was what got us over the line, because it's kind of like we can offer people the ability to make a green decision or environmentally conscious decision without sacrificing quality or comfort.
Yeah. So from that perspective, you got a great brand. You guys have a huge following. And I mean, I don't know whether you can get the demographic breakdown of your following, but it's 1.1 million. I'm assuming that's not all in Australia. We only have a population of 26 or 27. So I'd assume you've got a pretty decent worldwide following there.
Yeah. I think it's different. That's Instagram and then TikTok and Facebook. I think together it's 3 point something across the different apps. But I think about 50% is Australia, and then we have probably the next biggest is in the US. UK is pretty significant as well, and then sort of scattered around Canada, New Zealand, Southeast Asia,
Okay.
bit of Europe.
So the Canadians don't understand our humour.
Well, I think the proportion of their population compared to how many follow us is probably higher than Americans. I think Canadians probably get it a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah, Canadians are cool
They're
people.
still in the Commonwealth, so
Yeah, I did live there for 2 years. You don't want to say that too loud. They don't like hearing that.
Okay. I forget that. Sorry to all Canadians.
I lived over there for a bit as well. Where did you live?
Vancouver.
Okay, beautiful.
So a place called White Rock, which is virtually not far from the US-Canadian border. So it's about an hour and a bit's drive into Vancouver.
Nice.
So it was a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Well, I lived there 6 months of the year, then come back here 6. So basically, I just follow the sun. So I was living over there during the spring, summer, and then back here.
I did the direct opposite of that. I was chasing the snow.
You're skiing, were you?
Yeah.
So you're up in Whistler?
Sun Peaks. Couple of hours inland,
Yeah, so no, I can't ski. I've been to Whistler on numerous occasions, usually Canada Day to drink.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
So I think that's 2nd of July or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's
Probably more Aussies in Whistler on Canada Day than Canadians there.
pretty much. So yeah, one of the guys who many kilos ago when I was in the pro triathlon team, his stepfather owned a property in Whistler.
Damn.
So yeah, it was hard.
Awesome.
And saying that, I did do a triathlon there, and it was the coldest damn swim I've ever done in my life.
Yeah,
Wow.
I bet.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the middle of summer. And I can't remember the name of the lake there, and it was freezing. And back then, the days when I had zero body fat on me, I actually just got out and I'd stop on the side of the road. I saw someone I knew and get a jumper and it was just the old woolen jumpers back then, and actually on the bike and just put on a jumper. I was shivering so badly.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I'm talking about a day that got up to 30 degrees.
Yes.
It's just coming out the water. I was just shivering so badly.
Melt.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a 7 a.m. swim start. So it wasn't that hot in the morning. No, it was, but it was a day that my body composition during those times, in the younger days, did not like at all. Yeah, so but it's an amazing part of the world. But it's when you actually start to look at what you guys are doing. You can actually say there's the comedic side. Well, that's who you are. That's who you are every day, basically. But you've also got the serious side now. You're running a business which, is most likely going to end up being a huge global business as well.
Yeah.
How do you, well, I think it will. But how do you guys, having the brand and the marketing to start with is how, but then you've also got a great product. So if you think of some really average products that are taken off globally because brand marketing, etc., and you guys have got the great brand, the marketing, but also the marketing being you guys as well behind it. So, but how do you sort of change that personality trait of having to be serious in business and cash flow and balance sheets and having enough stock, so making sure all of that is happening, the inventory and everything that goes with it, but also your everyday life of making hilarious reality skits and actually being comedians at the same time. I mean, it seems like a bit of an oxymoron there.
That's interesting. I guess the comparisons between that hard edged business stuff and like that's enjoyable, but the writing and the constructing of the whatever we're doing, if it's a podcast or if it's a sketch or whatever it is, that's actually we're laughing as we do it, but that's a quite we try and be as exact as possible because it's like if Isaac's I saw Isaac doing the edit and was sort of it's like millisecond sort of things, and we're saying, oh, I think it should be this, or you think it should be that, blah blah blah. So it kind of has that same element. So it's almost like the harder editing or decision making within the comedy part of the business sort of almost prepared us for this more harder nosed, just straight business stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't feel that too polar opposite. The thing that feels different is when we're actually making the stuff or or in the moment of trying to do the funny stuff. That's when it still feels like, 5 years ago when we're starting.
Yeah.
I guess I think from an early stage of doing swag, we wanted to make it viable. So we wanted to make it a business. So we always had that sort of intention to give it like a strong enough foundation so that we could quit our jobs and, do it as work.
So let's touch on that. What were your jobs prior to starting Swag and Smartass?
Almost finished my economics degree when it kicked off, so I was just working at a snowboard shop down the road from me until I finished uni, and then I didn't mind the economics course, but I'm definitely grateful that I never had to try and find a job with it because I'm much more enjoying this than I assume
I can assure you have way too much personality to be an economist. So
you use the skills a fair bit for our stuff.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Numbers. So let's say savant. Can I say?
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
That loves numbers and will say, "Oh, look, I made this. What do you think of this?" And it's a graph of our last videos from the last 12 months and key performance indicators and a heat map of why things do well and why things aren't doing well and stuff. So loves data, and we love sort of analyzing it and seeing if we can,
which is exactly. Well, no, it's actually not. It's exactly what you need to have a successful business, especially as it scales and grows.
Yeah, I think what makes it easy.
Understanding your data and your numbers is just so
Mhm.
vitally important, which is, whether it's swag or whether it's smartass,
Mm.
understanding the numbers and what you're actually getting from that is one of the most vital things in actual business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you get so many insights from the analytics and on social media that you can tell everything from the likes and shares to the watch time, when people stop engaging, what makes them continue engaging, like what areas of the video perform better than others, and there's just so much data that you can gather that I think a lot of people probably miss out on or don't use because I kind of you wouldn't think to use it, but when if you're ready to look for it, there's a lot there that you can learn from.
Well, I actually got told off in our team meeting this morning by our CFO and my general manager. I said, well, we've never really marketed our business before. It's always just been word of mouth. We're very selective in who we have as clients. So we've got our target market and we've just started putting things out on Meta before we go to LinkedIn. And I said, well, the target market is obviously working really well because I know I'm the target market. And, on several times a day, I'm seeing me come up on Instagram and on Facebook. First of all, why I'm on it several times a day. But secondly, it was more of a case of our CFO said, well, if it's okay, can you actually just turn it off so you don't want to see that anymore? Because every time you view it and you're just looking at yourself, you're costing me money.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So I went and turned it off.
But he's not considering the vanity of the enjoyment of watching yourself, which we're privy to.
I quite liked it.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
when someone edits and makes me look a hell of a lot better than I am, it's wonderful.
and that enthusiasm gets pumped back into the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's absolutely it does. So,
Closed circuit.
yeah, but it's, when you have something and it starts to go viral, how does, from the first skit you did, being the toilet paper, but how do you actually say, listen, I'm going to turn this into a business? Or, you're going to monetize it, which is what you've actually done. Sorry, Jack, I'll go back. What was your job before?
I was running a music school.
Okay.
Yep.
Musician you are?
Yeah, I studied guitar at uni.
I sound like Yoda then, didn't it? Musician you are?
Yes.
I'm not
what's
that
the word?
wise.
Padawan? What does he say?
Padawan.
Padawan,
Yeah,
yes,
I'm not that wise.
Well, maybe you are.
Yeah.
So I did a psychology and music degree, and then I started the music school and started postgraduate psych, and then sort of started happening, and then said, I'll park that for a moment.
So how did your parents feel when you said, I just quit work?
Well,
Being a
that's
parent
interesting.
of a 29 and 26-year-old,
Okay.
so it's
You're in the zone? Yeah.
yeah, but I'm an empty nester very happily, even though my 29-year-old did suggest that him and his partner should come and live with me. I said, why? So, I really enjoy being by myself.
I had full support.
Yeah,
I think.
I had no pushback.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we were both very lucky. Always had the full support of uni or work or no uni, no work, whatever it was. Yeah. They were, while they don't understand it really. My dad especially doesn't really understand what it is that we do. He was
I'm assuming your dad's
supportive.
probably similar age to me, so it's
he's not online at all. He
Okay.
turning his iPad on is about the extent of his tech abilities. So he doesn't really appreciate the magnitude, I think, of the situation, but he's all for it.
Have you explained how it's monetized now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just because my mum is she knows her way around tech for sure, but dad has just never been on social media, never been like the whole concept that mainstream media and TV advertising are on the way out, and social media advertising is just so much more effective and gets seen by 10, 20 times more people that TV advertising does nowadays. It's kind of hard for someone my dad's age who doesn't go on social media to appreciate that. But when you tell him the sort of numbers that you're dealing with online and on social media, he can't really wrap his head around it.
Yeah, it's quite extraordinary. I mean, one of my clients was the original founder of Austereo.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking to him about social media. His daughter's very well known in the media as well. But it was just like, I said, well, I remember you guys, it was probably about 92 or 93. and you had one of your advertising guys came to us to talk about advertising on the radio, and they said, if we do this time slot, here's the demographic. I think the evening time slot was with Eddie McGuire and a couple of others, and the after work drive home. And here's what it's going to cost you per week, and there's X amount of listeners, and here's roughly what their ages are, and things like that. And that's a scattergun approach. But the advertising, of course, you can do now. You can say, I only want my ads to be seen by solicitors within a 6K radius of our office who earn $3 and wear blue suits. So, and it's very, very specific of what you can actually do. But it seems to be that, and I had an incident, so positive, but a bit scary for me at the same time. So I was interviewed by a magazine several months ago, and so they said, well, you're actually going to be on the front cover of the magazine, and their podcasts that they do, so they live record it, usually go for around about 40 to 45 minutes. But she kept asking questions. So she gave me 10 questions prior, and then my answer would allude to another question, another one, ended up going for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I said, geez, you've got a lot of editing to do then. She goes, no, in every part of it. But she put out all those little snippets, the 15-second snippets, linked to my private Instagram page rather than the company one, took 375,000 views and about 4,000 friend requests. I'm pretty
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh.
Yeah, yeah.
So I understand always where your father's coming from, but it's just like, yeah, my private Instagram page is not that exciting that you actually want to.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
Did you accept all the 4,000?
Some of them, they're really good. I actually didn't because I saw it, but what they've actually come back and asked, they want to do a follow-up now. So one of the things is we will have our work pages now that we're starting to get all those up and running, actually linked to it. So
Yeah.
So you've actually done some great product placements in respect to your skits with Smartass now. Are people starting to put their two and two together? Because you've had product placements before in your skits, haven't you?
Yeah, well, that's the main breadwinner previously.
Yeah, Pepsi in one, was that right?
We have done Pepsi, yes. Many others that are not coming to mind right now. But yes, that's sort of the idea. It's a classic funnel scenario where you get a top line.
Especially being an influencer with comedy.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Well, we get called that every now and then.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's derogatory or not
It's
anymore.
also a
influencer.
Yeah, okay.
But you have the product in a video with no real mention of it. Then there's sort of ones where you're sort of mentioning it, but in a funny way. Then there's the sort of harder sell that would it's sort of that sort of classic funnel stuff. But it's just it's just if we can get the energy of what we believe Smartass to be out there, and if people can attach themselves to it and want to be a part of it, because we're only doing it because we believe in it. That's all.
Hold on. I got to go back a step here. Your toilet paper is so good, there'll be no attachment.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's right. It's a new tagline. Yeah, maybe.
But do you know how Hungry Jack's got their tagline? The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
No.
So it was. I only learned this the other day, but it was a 6-year-old daughter of a media executive. He said, "Come on, we'll go to Macca's," and she goes, "No, I want to go to Hungry Jack's." Now remember, Hungry Jack's, the brand is only in Australia because it's Burger King. So she goes, "No, I want to go to Hungry Jack's." He goes, "What do you want to go to Hungry Jack's for?" And she goes, "Because the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's."
Wow.
That's how the tagline, and he paid her 4 Hungry Jack's cups.
Okay.
Cheap labour to a 6-year-old.
Yeah, wow.
So that's not the tagline for Burger King. That's just Hungry Jack's in Australia.
That's correct, yeah.
To be
Right.
funny, Burger King, the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very true.
That's like the story of the Nike symbol, yeah.
Yeah, $70.
Crazy.
Yeah, so
They gave us some shares or dividends or something, right?
I think they did when the story came out because I don't know if you've ever read the book Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. Great book, because all it does is talks about everything Nike went through before it became a success. So it's not about Nike, the success story of the billionaire. It's Nike nearly going into bankruptcy every month for the first 8 years of its existence, and how credit cards were paying off debts and everything else, and having to order and get a new credit card to order this stock because they'd run out of stock. And so it's actually a great story for anyone who wants to start a business, because everyone sees, obviously Michael Jordan really propelled the brand. I mean, it was already very, very successful when they signed him. but it's also the fact that you see these success stories, but it's that backstory of failure after failure after failure, nearly bankrupt, losing the house. And he's very open about his son passed away from a deep diving accident
Really?
as well. So, very open about that and how badly that's affected. So, that's the thing with business. Every overnight success usually comes with about 20 years of failure,
Yeah.
or hard times,
Yeah.
hard work.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Totally.
so on that, how do you actually, balance, doing comedy? You do your skits, and you see most of them recorded during the day.
Sure.
But if you're out doing the Melbourne, comedy festival, or you guys are out, let's say, what are some of the Edinburgh one, or Montreal, etc. How do you weigh up running of the business, and you got your two jobs?
Sure.
I've always said the best way to be successful is not to have a plan B, but you've got two very distinct ways of earning income right now.
Yeah. I mean,
Or it hasn't got to that level yet where it's a real issue. I mean, doing a comedy gig is a nighttime gig.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I mean, we are time poor, I suppose, if that's what you're alluding to. But
Yeah.
the shows that we do, we would just do like a block of tour. Like the last one we did it probably went for a month, and that's just like, okay, we're doing that for a month, sort of thing. But I mean, it's more like it's all feels like one big push, and as long as we have enough resource to put it into Smart Ass or the sketches, or the podcast is 12 months old now, and that's a mainstay, a part of the week for us. And then there's also, we've got 2 or 3 other projects that we can probably talk about them here, but they're taking up time as well. So it's like Isaac's better at clocking off, I'd say, than like, if that's really like time management of like making sure you're doing other things and being fresh enough to work. But yeah, I don't know. It's like if we're young enough to work hard.
Well, I was going to say this is a time in your lives, because neither of you are married, are you? No, so
no.
no. Well done.
Not anymore.
And neither of you have children that you're aware of.
Correct.
No, so you've got time on your hands. So and this is definitely the best time, when you do have that time to actually, even if you just have a look at some of the more serious conversations people like, from the likes of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and I'm not just picking on basketball here, but the people who were known as the best in the world weren't always the best. But their work ethic was through the roof, and they had that work ethic though when they had the time to have that work ethic.
Yeah.
And well, Kobe's unfortunately no longer with us, but if you have a look at Michael Jordan, he doesn't have to do anything now. I don't know whether his pivot into baseball was a good move.
Yeah.
But it's the fact is that you've actually got a massive work ethic now. But can I actually go back? We usually do one part, and I've purposely left it to this part. We usually ask about your upbringings and your backstories at the start.
Okay.
I wanted everyone to know you guys first of all. So were you guys constantly separated in class and made sure you couldn't be separated because were you the class clowns? You obviously got a good education. You're both intelligent guys.
You're just saying that for the camera.
Well, at least one of them I know from the so we, So based on that, I mean, it's you've got a good background. You live in a good suburb, a nice affluent suburb. Went to a very well known school, being Ivanhoe Grammar, as well. So, what was your childhood like? What was it like growing up?
Similar, I would say.
You've been friends since primary school, correct?
Yeah. We went to the same primary school, lived a couple of 100 meters away from each other. I think it was probably grade 3 or 4 where we really met.
Yeah.
And started hanging out.
Yeah.
We sort of, I think we connected over footy cards first, probably.
Yeah,
footy cards.
Coach, yeah.
But yeah, what were your footy teams?
I'm Carlton.
I'm St Kilda.
So I think we've gone through so much hardship that we've
I'm an Essendon supporter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in the same sort of boat.
Had to build the armour.
Yeah, I've got pain. I've got pain of memories from going and seeing Essendon win grand finals in the 80s.
Yeah, well, hey, at least you've seen one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now you're just rubbing it in.
You're one of them.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also a Manchester United fan, so I just keep living in the glory days.
Okay.
So whereas my older son just keeps swearing at me because he was born into supporting Essendon and Manchester United.
Nah,
so
that's
not
more
really
our.
true.
Yeah, we sympathise with that.
Yeah.
I think we both. I mean, it's definitely speaking for myself, but I think we both obviously had a very lucky upbringing. Our parents are actually close friends, and were friends from when we were younger. But I think my experience was because I've got two sisters. My dad's a builder, and my mum's a social worker. They kind of just created a household that was very accepting and supportive, and I never really. I'm extremely grateful for the upbringing that I had, because it was a very loving household. We all got along and still do, and my parents were always very supportive of whatever it is that I wanted to do. When I graduated high school, I tried a year of engineering and dropped out, and then went to do ski seasons in Canada and Japan. And I sort of always told them that it was just going to be a temporary thing, and this is what I needed in life, and then I was going to go back to uni. And they just said, "Okay, no worries, 100%, we support you, and if you ever need to come back and live here, you can, and we'll support whatever you do." And I can definitely.
How old are you at that time?
20.
Yeah, okay.
19, 20.
Yeah.
And I can definitely appreciate that not everyone has that support network, and meeting a lot of the people that I have that are my age. I know that it's quite rare, actually, that you have two supportive parents, and parents that are just going to back you 100% with.
Hopefully a very loving household.
For sure. And I think knowing that that they were going to back me with whatever I tried to do meant that I've felt comfortable pursuing this, and I felt comfortable changing, leaving uni originally, coming back and doing something, and then not pursuing the economics because of this. And I think that I just can't overstate how helpful that has been for me, knowing that whatever it is that I was going to do, they were going to back me 100%.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story, and genuinely. Children who thrive in life usually come from a good, strong, loving background as well. So it's and that is genuinely a wonderful story, and testament to your parents as well. And it's actually really good to hear you say that about your parents. Maybe one day in the future I might hear something secondhand that my kids might say about me. So
We'll get 'em on
you
our
will.
podcast.
Sure you will.
oh no, I'm a private person, so I don't think I'm telling stories about it. Well, Dad, how he always wears suits. You should see him in his grubby tracksuit. And I don't think he's lost 7 years
Well,
ago.
if that's the worst thing they say, it's a pretty good report.
Oh, I know. I have some other stories as well. But it's interesting because I got into economics at La Trobe University, same Bachelor of Economics, and I turned up for 2 weeks and deferred because I got into a pro triathlon team in Canada. And my mum said, like hell. And then burst into tears. And my dad, because I said to Dad, this is my shot and this is my opportunity, and I'm actually getting paid to do this,
Right.
and live over in Canada. And he just turned around to me. My mum was the boss in our house. My dad was the smooth everything over person in the house. And he said, "Son, it's okay. You'll be going. Just let me gently work on your mum,
Yep.
and we'll get there, but eventually you'll go." But then he looked at me very sternly and he said, "If you ever tell her I said that, I will deny it."
He knows his place in the hierarchy.
Right.
He dropped me off at the airport, gave me a hug and walked away. And my mum just left me at the front gate, burst into tears and said, "You better come home. Do not get married over there, and you better come home." That was her words of wisdom.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
Now, Jack, how do you follow that? Tell me about your upbringing and
It was all
childhood.
right.
stuff.
That's all I got. No, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the same sentiments, honestly.
No, you got to think of something different. I already used them.
I'm trying to
Siblings?
think. I'm one of 4.
Yeah.
A sister, 2 brothers.
And where are you?
I'm the eldest.
Yep. So you're the influence.
Yeah. My sister.
I won't say good or bad.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Well,
their
that's
decision
up
to
them
make.
decide.
Yeah.
They're all kicking much, better goals than me. Some would say, but my sister's a psychologist. My brother's an industrial designer, and the youngest brother's studying law and psych.
They're kicking more conventional
more
goals.
conventional goals. But that's the thing.
You're kicking bananas from the corner.
Bananas,
They're just 50
Check
out
side,
straight in front.
I've seen one of your skits, where you kicked the ball over the fence for those school kids that went about 400 metres up in the air.
It's got a bit of centre half forward about him.
That was
Well, no, I actually said that to Vaughan. He looks like a football, but apparently he's not. Is that right?
I look
So
like a
he's a
football?
key surfer.
Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'll let Vaughan decide that maybe off air. Upbringing, very, very lucky, very good. Mum and dad both come from conservative backgrounds. I would think it's a fair thing to say. And
So, any of your parents psychologists?
yes,
Because I was going to say there's 3 of the 4 kids have got some type of psychology in their degree. So you being one too.
yeah,
A very
studied it
high
for a while?
percentage of his parents are psychologists.
Oh, is that right?
that's how they
Both?
met.
We have numerous amounts of psychologists and
Yeah, it's
psychiatrists.
the dinner table's quite
clients
intense.
in here.
Yeah.
Well, actually, for me, it's a case of I know I have to be on my best behaviour because they're
No,
reading my mind.
they're not interested in best behaviour.
Actually, our podcast gets yesterday. We interviewed her. She's the one that went for 90 minutes. She's a renowned psychologist.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
Well, the dinner table is just everyone asking how each other feels, which is usually good. But anyway, so they came from more conservative backgrounds and they, never had a pressure on pushing us towards one way or the other way. I thought I wanted to play footy when I was 12 years old, then I thought I wanted to do blah, blah, blah. There was never, and he's like, well, you do whatever you want. And if you need help, let us know. And that was sort of how it went. So there was never any pushback when I was like, this thing with Isaac's sort of working a bit. And they're like, great, go for it. I think I had this quiet dream of wanting to study music and play guitar, and I never really enunciated it properly because it just felt far-fetched, or like, well, you can't actually do that stuff. And then Mum was the one who actually said, you should just actually do it. Actually, just at least go and audition, So they were always pushing that sort of go for it scenario, whereas an opposite feeling of you should do what is normal and accepted was never part in the ether for any of the 4 of us, I think.
What style of guitar? Electric, rhythm,
Sort of started
lead,
electric, trying to play
classical.
Jimmy Page flat out, but then
Led Zeppelin fan.
oh yeah,
Your parents obviously are my age too.
there you go.
So it must be. Yeah.
I don't even know if that was from them. I don't know if they're Zeppelin fans, to be honest. They're more Neil Young, James Taylor stuff. But the stuff at uni we played was mainly Brazilian, sort of. It's like choros and sambas and sort of jazz standards that are arranged in the Brilliant style on a nylon acoustic classical guitar. So that's like the main squeeze. Yeah.
So you got very nimble fingers.
I used to be better when I was playing full on, but
Yeah.
you have
It's fast typer.
I'm actually a slow typer.
Fast with your what's your fretting hand? Your right hand. Yeah.
Right hand, yeah.
Well, I've broken every finger in both hands, so my typing is usually about 2 fingers and 1 thumb.
Wow.
You've really broken every finger.
The Django Reinhardt of typing, if you know who that is.
So it's just,
Did you just punch yourself in the left and right fist one time?
So it's and that's because I didn't have psychologists as parents helping me.
You misunderstood what a fist bump was. Fist bump, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 14 years of martial arts and 4 years of boxing.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's so the football career wasn't going to help the guitar playing.
No, I mean, I only played football till I was like 17 or 16 or 17.
We dominated the high school grades, the primary school grade 6 team though.
Yes,
Okay.
we were a good team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
So he was a centre forward, was
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just it was generous as well. I distinctly remember him running into an open goal and giving off the hands to one of our teammates waiting in the goal square.
That's nice.
Or he might have forcibly removed it from you. But
Blair. Yeah. There was this cherry picker Ford
So
pocket
you do
player.
remember this?
I remember this now, yeah. Open goal square, and this guy ripped it out of my hands and kicked the goal himself. Anyway, never forgave him. Hope he's well. Blair Dawson, how you going? Full name on the podcast, Blair?
Yeah, so it's I hope you didn't lose the league goal kicking that year by 1 goal.
Definitely not to him. Sucked in.
So you want to say his name again? How do we spell the surname?
No, he's been through enough probably.
Yeah, so what is next then for you guys? I mean, swag is just continually building. Your comedy, skits are just you're so well known now. Your comedy skits, you've got now your business, Smart Ass as well. So where do you see? It's hard to say. Like I never ask anyone who runs technology businesses this question, but where do you see, say, the next 3 to 5 years for you, gents? Because you'll still be very young.
I think the beauty of what we're able to do is that we can sort of stay open to what that's going to look like. And as the opportunities come or as the inspiration comes to us, we can pursue different things, which has sort of led us to where we are now with Smart Ass and with the podcast and the live show and everything we've done. But I think ideally, I think for me, and I can probably speak for both of us, is that if we can continue to nurture Smart Ass into a successful business, then that will allow us to have more time to pursue the creative endeavors and things like we got approached earlier in the year by a production company about doing a movie. And so we're sort of in very early stages of pursuing that. I think it would be an ideal scenario is one where we can have time allocated to a business, to Smartass, and then allow ourselves time to be creative and follow the more freeing sort of creative pursuits. But I think that would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah. An interesting point, Tony, is that we've recently been able to connect with some of our heroes, reaching out or meeting them at events and stuff. And someone who really took us under their wing was Glenn Robbins.
Okay.
Obviously from Russell Coyd and Kath and Kim and stuff like that. And we shot
very successful.
Very, very successful. And we asked him to be in a skit of ours, and he said yes. And we were filming it. And afterwards we were having coffee or whatever. And he said, guys, just so you know, no matter what level you're working at, the good feeling of creating something is always like what we've just had today. Problem solving it, does that work? Fitting it into the scene, is the shot right? All that kind of stuff. He's like, if you're on a film, TV, in a studio, in the middle of nowhere, he's like, you've got this, the source already. You're experiencing the good part of it. So just know that these are the glory days now. You're able to be super creative. And he couldn't really believe that we get to do this and reach such a big audience without having producers or directors telling us it has to be like this or this person needs to be, and all this kind of stuff. So that was a nice reminder that the fact that we get to do it now our own way is like we're already doing the thing, which is nice.
I think learning to enjoy the moment is something that a lot of people in business, and it doesn't matter whether it's Swag as the business or whether it's Smartass as the business, but so many people forget to actually look and celebrate at their successes. There's so many people that, say from, we have to hit these numbers, and you hit these numbers and you don't do anything to celebrate it. You just go home. And I think you actually can lose momentum. And, so coming from a sporting background, it's a case of you work so hard and so hard and so hard towards achieving, say, a sporting goal, and then you do it. And the next day comes, but because you actually haven't prepared and set for anything else, or actually given your time to actually go and reflect and enjoy the moment, go out and celebrate, for dinner and things like that. It's simple and just, just say, well done.
It's just something we have to continuously remind ourselves of, and each other as well, which is good having someone else, because you can get caught up in the, we've done this, but imagine if we could do this, or this is what we're really aiming for, or it could turn into this, and you forget to stop and just appreciate for a minute.
Your goals always end up growing. So there's nothing wrong with your goals actually growing. It's actually just more the fact of that when your goals are actually growing, still celebrating the victories along the way.
Yeah, I think, and yeah,
it's just not just economics.
Exactly, and enjoying what you're doing as well, because in a similar way that no matter how much awesome stuff you get to do, or whatever level of success you get to, there's always going to be something further that you can achieve, or there's always going to be a reason to not fully appreciate or enjoy what you're doing because it could be better. So I think that I try and remind myself not to or to keep working towards something while appreciating what you're doing and enjoying what you're doing at the moment, because there's always going to be an excuse not to.
There's always a reason not to get out of bed in the morning. It's too cold.
And the goalpost, if you told us 5 years ago this is where we'd be like, oh my God. Now that we're here, it's like, well, we've moved the goalposts again. It's that classic scenario.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you say that, and 5 years ago, etc. But it's a case of that maybe you would have scared yourself. So, I've always said if you think about business is that if money was unlimited and you didn't have to think about money, what would you want to be doing right now? And, so in other words, freeing up your mind to the ability of what can actually be achieved. But I'm going to end on some rapid fire questions. Bella did put one down
Oh,
here
cool.
and said, no, she put one down and said, if you could go back and tell your 21-year-old self, I said, they're not far past that. So we'll keep that question out. So
That's kind.
It's only a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Couple years.
So, it's before I get to rapid fire questions, I actually just want to state something, and it's come from both your stories of your upbringing, actually, which I think is very powerful. So I'm actually quite glad I left it towards the end. Is that when both my parents were orphans after, my mum's mum died giving birth to her. My dad was an orphan after World War II, growing up in London. So they came here as migrants with absolutely nothing, worked their butts off, and made sure my sister and I had an education, something they never had. And as a result of that, they gave us opportunities in life. I mean, the opportunities were up to us, but they still gave us opportunities in life, and we've both done okay. The interesting thing is my dad always called that breaking the cycle. You don't actually have to be a victim all the time. And it's the opportunity now for what they done for us is their grandchildren, being my two sons and my sister's two daughters, have gone on to do really well for themselves as well.
Yeah.
So rather than being that perpetual victim and, going down and woe me, but I'm going to go back to one step. So one of the things, we do with our charitable giving program in here is we support. So we run a school in Tanzania, which we fully fund. So 604 students over there. We look after a couple of Indigenous groups here as well, which help children avoid incarceration. Aboriginal kids avoid incarceration, which they are just magnificent in what they do. But one of the things that I think the gift of what your parents have given you, so it's a shout out to your parents here, is that they've given you the gift of not boxing you in and saying, you're just this. And saying, they've actually given you the encouragement, but also in some type of way, the safety net of knowing worst case scenarios, you can go home and live with them if things didn't work, but they're not going to discourage you from going out there and trying and failing, or trying and failing, then trying and succeeding. And the way you actually spoke about your families growing up, I think, is a testament to them and to yourselves as well, because what that is going to do is they gave you the gift of an education and a personality, because we are in some ways the personality of what our parents allowed us to have.
That's true.
To some extent, So, but in saying that as well, that they've allowed you guys to go out there, and as a result, one day in the future, their next generation that comes through from you guys and your siblings is going to have that same benefit from what they've actually given you. So I just wanted to throw that out there and congratulate them
Make sure Mum listens now.
Yeah. On raising two wonderful young men who are going to be great successes in life. But they gave you the gift of an education, which means you actually can run a business and actually can do everything that you want to do and actually turn that into very successful businesses as well. So well done to the two of you for actually taking those gifts that your parents given you and actually run with it as well.
It's very kind. Thank you.
So it's let's end on a couple of rapid fire questions if it's okay.
Sure.
And you both can answer these. And what you can do is you can take in turns of actually who answers first.
Okay, cool.
So the first question.
Isaac, go first.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Unfortunately, check the phone. I'm trying to make that not the case, but
yeah. What do I do? Sorry, that was one for one. Probably press snooze. I have an old like wireless instead of using my phone, because then I'll just be on the phone, and I have it on 3 mbs, so it plays classical music.
Okay.
So sometimes it's actually not loud enough to wake me up. So it's either I just wake to like soft strings playing usually, and then hit snooze. So yeah, that's what I do.
I actually go to sleep every night in Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
As soon as there's 3 classical songs that go in a row, and I'm always asleep by halfway through Rhapsody in Blue.
Wow, that's cool. Well, Gershwin's the man, is he?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so it's so I hear what you're saying there. So neither of you wake up, go to the toilet, and you're smart ass, obviously. So
you said that's the second thing we do.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you wake up, is it a coffee or a green smoothie or something else?
It's actually smart ass toilet paper in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm a coffee man for sure. Instant coffee.
Yep.
The coffee pretty
Nescafe.
much all tastes the same to me. I didn't get the Melbourne
G,
coffee ton,
yeah,
so
wow.
I'm perfectly happy with some blend 43 and boiling water.
Well, I do actually have to have a chat to Vaughan because I did notice the last couple of guests that he's made a coffee for, they've not finished it.
Ooh,
And, so there are ways of actually making a good coffee.
yeah, put a marshmallow in it.
Yeah, all my times in Italy, I've learned. So they're coffee snobs, and we love coffee in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So, okay, so both coffee men?
No, I don't drink coffee. I'd probably just the water. I'd probably just drink some
Just
water,
water.
just to get the hydration going. Yeah.
Well done. What's one book every creator or entrepreneur should read?
I read recently The Creative Way by Rick Rubin,
Okay,
his music producer that did all those. He's worked with everyone, Paul McCartney, Neil Young. More notably, like he helped the Red Hot Chili Peppers create their sound.
Okay.
He's got a really nice way of enunciating creativity in a non-competitive, non-pressurized way.
Yeah.
For people that feel like it's supposed to be compared to other people or anything like that. So I can't pull a quote out of it right now, but it's very good. Very good book.
Probably have to go the Steve Martin autobiography.
It's just come out recently, hasn't it?
Oh, Born Standing Up is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I
a
don't know if
couple of
that's-
years ago.
I don't know if that's
Okay.
recent. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's our manager actually gave it to both of us because he's a comedian as well. But I think in terms of it's more comedy specific, but joke formulation and the way that he approaches acting for a role and preparing for a role is just inspirational. And obviously, he's one of the best to ever do it. So it's
And he had a long run up. Like he was not well known for a very long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was trying to do stand-up comedy when you had the Richard Pryors of the world and people like that who was just, iconic. So absolutely iconic. So but he is very, very good. Who's one Australian or global creator or leader that you really admire right now? Besides your manager, of course.
Yeah. Creator or leader? Geez. I thought you were going to say comedian. I was going to say Barry Humphries, but that doesn't really work for that question, does it? Creator or leader?
Barry Humphries is an iconic and unbelievably successful humour.
He is.
He's done so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting question.
Honestly, we have our peers, the Inspired Unemployed, are two guys who are similar to us from in New South Wales, and they do very similar to what we do. They sort of pave the way for young men doing online comedy stuff on social media, and just the way they've gone about it and the success that they found has been inspiring to me, I think, and sort of paving the way in a sense for people like us to come in and try and do the same thing.
Sushi Mango guys have done pretty well too, actually.
Yeah,
they're great guys and have done a lot of impressive things. The wine at the restaurant and
the restaurant's around the corner.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And you might have heard me singing "Sweet Carolina."
Yeah.
So it's what would you regard as the most underrated skill in business or life?
Rapid rapport building.
Maybe
it's not underrated, but
I think it's. We were talking about it this morning. EQ and IQ. You have to have that emotional intelligence. It's vitally important to have it, especially in business.
Yeah.
So Isaac,
probably attention to detail. I would say things that you might not think that will impact other people or that other people will notice. If you think that you should do it or include it or fix it or whatever it is, then just do it. And even if it's not something that people are going to overtly recognize, I think there's a lot of small, insignificant details that become significant when they're together. And whether it's attention to detail within the editing process of a video that people sort of subconsciously notice, or things that aren't massive parts of the product. I think just stay true to what you believe is important, even if it seems small and insignificant.
Great answer. Early mornings or late nights?
You've got
they're bipolar, polar opposites rather.
You got the night owl over here.
Yeah,
early bird
early
over there.
guy. Yeah.
Okay, what's early for you?
I'm trying to try and be up and doing something by like 6:30ish,
Okay.
which isn't crazy for all if there's a tradesman out there, but yeah, and then
Okay. I'm going to do this one because usually I'm doing one-on-one interviews. But what I'm going to do is, Isaac, I'm going to 3 words that would describe Jack.
he's
And remember, it's what's going to happen in reverse. So,
Tall, dark, and handsome. No, I'll go.
here we go.
Bullish,
Mhm.
impressive,
Fully, yeah.
and consistent.
Wonderful.
That's nice. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm
now
only
the
saying it
rever-
because you're going
Yeah.
second to me.
Jack?
Headstrong. And I've got to say funny, right?
Well, that's a definite.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Last question, gents. I'll start with yourself, Jack. Success is? What does it mean to you?
Success is complete independence.
Wonderful answer.
Yeah.
Isaac, you had several seconds there to think about your
Yeah, and I
answer.
think what I'm saying is probably just a longer way of saying what you just said. But I was thinking having the freedom to do what you want to do. I suppose that is exactly independence in a way. But yeah, if it's not a success in the traditional financial sense, I think the sort of the longer we do this, the more I realize that you have to, like I was saying before, you appreciate the things that maybe don't cost anything, or you appreciate the things that are always going to be there. You just have to find it, friends and family, and nurturing good relationships and enjoying every day of your life. So I think success to me is probably the same in the position we are now versus if everything goes well in 10 years time, if we're successful. I think success is still going to mean the same thing, having the freedom to do what you want to do and enjoy it.
What a wonderful answer. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure delving into this with you guys. 2 best friends growing up who, now get to work together but actually work together doing what you love. So it would have been hard to work together as, running your own music school and being an economist, but but actually finding that common ground of working together and building something great, which is no doubt going to be a global success, both on both fields. So, gentlemen, well done. Absolute pleasure having you in here.
Thank you very much for having us, Tony.
Very
Honored to be here.
grateful.
Yeah. Thank you.
The Kofkin Bond podcast is a product from Kofkin Bond Company, which we are an authorized representative of Count Financial. All information in this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional, finance, legal, or tax advice. The hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast are not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Before making any financial decision, you should read the product disclosure statement and, if necessary, consult a licensed financial professional. Do not take financial advice from the podcast. For more information, head to the disclaimer page on the Kofkin Bond website, or you can find resources on the ASIC website and find a registered financial professional near you. In the spirit of reconciliation, Kofkin Bond Co. and the hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today.